That's right, good evening ladies and gentlemen, and a very, very warm welcome back to day 2 for the final round of the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. And we are at Silverstone again tonight for the second night in a row. We are with the Porsche 911 GT3R endurance version, and a great night of action that we have got coming up. For those of you unfamiliar with the Silverstone GP layout, we will take you through that in just a second, but we have got Heat 1 is currently going through qualifying just now. We've got Stephen Bramwell out there, James Black, Connor Barton, Danny Kazar, we've got Neil Davis, Jonathan Atkinson, Lewis Day, we've got Grant Angus, Mark Chappell, we've got Ross Cuthbert, Adam Ansell, Scott Anderson, Andrew Butters and Shay Brennan. So let's have a little look at what it looks like to go round on a lap of Silverstone GP with yours truly. So this was recorded yesterday on the PC version, but it's a really, really nice track as we start the lap going in towards Vale here and then round Club Corner. And it's so important to get a good run out of Club Corner as we go round in towards Turn 1. Now, Turn 1 is very, very deceivingly simple. It's a right-hander, and then you go in towards this left-hander just before we go in towards the arena here. This is the new complex, and again you have to slow right down for that right-hander, and then in towards turn 4 is a very, very tight left-hander. Very difficult to get any sort of speed out of that corner there, round at the loop. We then come round Aintree, and it's onto the Wellington Straight. And down in towards the corner there at Brooklands. Turn 6, tight left-hander, and again the car wants to unsettle itself as we go straight in towards turn 7. This is Luffield, and again you've got to be so patient on the throttle as we go out towards Woodcote. It's down the straight here towards Cops, and again you have to pick a braking point very, very quickly and stick with it, because that car will drag you out to that left hand side and you will get a slow down penalty for that. Again, hard on the throttle down here towards the Maggots and Beckett's complex. 4 corners in very, very quick succession. Very easy to lose a lot of time on this section here. And then it's through Chapel, and it is hard on the accelerator, given everything that Porsche has possibly got to give down the Hangar Straight. And we have only got 4 corners left to go in this lap. It's hard on the brakes, and a right-hander in towards Stowe. You want to try and hug that apron of the apex as hard as you can. Let the car just drift out nice and wide, and then you want to brake at the 100 metre board marker in towards Vale. Let the car drift in nice and early, and then you've only got Club Corner to go. Very, very easy to take too much of the corner on the entry of that, and you go across the line to do a lap. I was lucky enough to do it in a 2:04, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that one. So without further ado, I think it's time to head over to the track very, very shortly. I should warn you, as all of our Xbox races unfortunately have been very difficult to watch, the bandwidth becoming a bit of an issue on the Xbox platform, which means that for us as viewers, the cars are tending to jitter about quite a bit. Unfortunately, we've tried everything. We've tried making sure that there's no sort of bandwidth restrictions, or that all the ports are open, and every other platform, PC and PS4, works absolutely flawlessly, but for some reason we do get this visual artifacting on the Xbox versions, but we'll just make do with it. This is going to be our final visit to Xbox Land before the final on Sunday, and at the moment let's have a look at who we have got on the timing screens just now, because at the top there, that is Danny Cassar with Jonathan Atkinson in second place. It's Grant Angus in third, and then you have got newcomer Mark Chappell in fourth place. In fifth place it's going to be Lewis Day. Sixth place at the moment is Stephen Bramwell, and it's going to be James Black in 7th place with that is Adam Ansell in 8th place. 9th place is Connor Barton, 10th place is Shay Brennan, somewhere on the track. And then we have got Scott Anderson in 11th place, and we have also got Ross Cuthbert at the back there. So we've got 3 minutes left to go in the session. I'm going to pop on a little bit of music, and when we return, we will have our qualifying order for qualifying Heat 1 of the Xbox.
Right.
Baby, I'm calling out, save me, I'm going down, take me to another town where I can rest my bones, I can rest my bones safely. Even when I'm together, I'm miles apart. Feel I'm running forever, get back to the start. I don't know if I'm broken or if I am just not trying. But we're feeling alive even when we are slowly dying. Shine a mirror on me. See my reflection, who am I really supposed to see?
Well, again, thankfully it doesn't seem to be affecting the pace of the cars out on track. In fact, it definitely isn't, because look at that, Danny Kazar, 2:02.355 with Jonathan Atkinson, 2:02.753. Those are some mighty quick times, and I think they're the fastest that we've had this week. James Black in 3rd place, and then in 4th place we have got Lewis Day. 5th place is Grant Angus, and then in 6th place is Mark Chappell. But we've only got another half a minute left. The cars coming over for their final laps of the race. And John, that's a very good point there. A big shout out to everyone that's in YouTube chat as well tonight. We should absolutely run these heats at 2 AM in the morning when nobody is actually online. Yeah, absolutely. The problem that I've got for somebody that's broadcasting this is that it works perfectly fine on PS4 and it works fine on PC. So for the life of me, I just can't figure out why we have these issues here on Xbox. But never mind. Let's say we'll get through this race and we'll do some more tinkering and see if we can try and improve things for race number 2. But at the moment, it does look like Danny Cassar is going to be on pole ahead of Jonathan Atkinson. Jonathan Atkinson just coming round now to complete his final lap. Can Jonathan Atkinson do anything? He doesn't. He stays there on a 2:02.753. And there we go then. So Danny Cassar from Jonathan Atkinson, that's your front row. Third place is going to be Just Drive, that's Lewis Day. And then James Black in 4th place, Grant Angus in 5th, and Mark Chappell in 6th place. Let's jump to the grid then for our first race of the evening. 7th place is Connor Barton. 8th place is going to be Stephen Bramwell. 9th place is going to be Shay Brennan, making his way all the way up there. And 10th place is going to be Adam Ansell. 11th place is going to be Scott Anderson. And then in 12th place is that is Ross Cuthbert, who is down there. Right, I hope that they are able to make their way down through this, because this is going to be a difficult race for us all to watch here. Stick with it. We will get through this one together, ladies and gentlemen. They are on their final 30 seconds before they get ready. Now, we have introduced the waiting for all players to be ready after had a couple of players complaining of a few bugs in the game, so we added that in, so it does add a little minute or so of delay, but nothing too major, because there we go, the word syncing means that we are ready to go for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship final round for qualifying heat number 1 for the Xbox, and away we go. And this start is going to be like a slideshow. They are all the way down into turn 1. And it still looks like Danny Cassar in the lead, and we've got all heck breaking loose there. That's somebody going very, very wide there. I think that was Grant Angus managing to keep his foot in, and it just gets back onto the track there. So Danny Cassar then from Jonathan Atkinson, and James Black up to 3rd place as we see Pugsy. That is Mark Chappell down into 5th place, and Grant Angus up into 6th there. The cars coming down the straight there and down through to have a look. That is of course the Wellington Straight, if I could even speak properly there, on the brakes in towards Aintree, and then in towards Brooklands, and then through Luffield. So it is still your race leader Danny Cassar from Jonathan Atkinson from James Black. It's going to be Mark Chappell in 4th place. We've got Grant Angus and a bit of contact there with Adam Ansell. We've got cars going off at that was Cop's Corner that we've got, and we've got a car going very, very wide, and in fact sideways at Cop's Corner there. So your leaders are absolutely away with it. They are 3 seconds ahead of the rest of the group. So that is Danny Cassar and Jonathan Atkinson streaking away, with James Black being hunted down by that is Mark Chappell in 4th place there. So just watching the cars coming through there. We've got 6 laps to get ourselves through. I get the feeling it's going to be a very long evening tonight, but already the driving standards have been hugely improved over last night's debacle with the PS4 drivers. Much more enjoyable to watch. We see a car going very, very wide there on the exit of Club Corner. Meanwhile, your race leader now is away with it. Danny Cassar, 1.8 seconds after 2 laps already. This pace is phenomenal right now. Jonathan Atkinson in no man's land there in 2nd place. And we've got a cracking battle going on for 3rd, 4th and 5th place right now. At the moment, that is Mark Chappell that is in front of James Black. But James Black has got Grant Angus all behind him. And he's letting him know that he is there. James Black in a sandwich right now. It's a delicious Porsche sandwich. And he has got Mark Chappell and Grant Angus in front and behind of him. And Grant Angus going very, very wide there at Copse Corner. That's almost certainly going to be a slow-down penalty for Grant Angus. It's so easy to lose a lot of time on that corner there. Tam Hamill, yes, it was like that on the PS4 last night. It does look a little bit darker than it was on the PS4, but it was set to the same time, so it was set to spring and 60x time progression. That's also why we turned the damage model off on the cars, because we didn't want cars going round and not having any headlights, because it's difficult enough in the dark with this track, let alone without any headlights. But here's your race leader then. We see Danny Kazar making his way through Vale and then through Club Corner for the last effort on lap 2. He's going to go across line to start lap 3. 2.7 seconds now is the gap to Jonathan Atkinson in second place there. But Mark Chappell now a second ahead of James Black, and he is just half a second ahead of Grant Angus in 5th place there. Adam Ansell has done a fantastic job somehow getting himself up into 6th place. And we've also got Stephen Bramwell up there as well. Thank you very much for the advice. Unfortunately, David, it was doing this during the daytime versions as well. We were getting these laggy conditions. It's almost certainly some sort of network issue, and absolutely nothing to do with the time of night, unfortunately. So we have to keep it the same across all 3 platforms, but we have still got another, let's see, that is going to be about a half a lap to go on lap 3 here for your race leader. And Danny Kazar is having an absolute textbook race right now. The speed and pace that he has got is just fantastic. 2:03.2 that last time round, and Jonathan Atkinson did a 2:04.2 before that, as we see Mark Chappell now gapping very slightly but significantly noticeable on James Black, and James Black now also has a bit of a gap on Grant Angus. Remember, it's the top 3 that qualify for Sunday's final. Adam Ansell up into 6th place there. 7th place is Stephen Bramwell. 8th place is going to be Lewis Day at the moment. We've got Connor Barton in 9th place. And then in 10th place we also have, that is Scott Anderson, and then Shea Brennan down in 11th place with Ross Cuthbert in 12th place. So we start our 4th lap out of 6 then. And Danny Kazar 2:02.823. This is just phenomenal pace right now from Danny Kazar. And Jonathan Atkinson doing a very, very good job of trying to keep him honest there. He just doesn't have the pace though. He's consistently about half a lap slower than Danny Kazar in 1st place there. But Matt Chappell doing a brilliant job there to hold on to 3rd place. But there we go. There's the move for 4th place here, and we have got it all kicking off between Grant Angus and that is James Black in 4th place then. It looks like Grant Angus is going to have the inside line coming into Brooklands then. He does. Can he get the car stopped in time? He does. So Grant Angus moves up into 4th place then, and James Black relegated down to 5th. Now that also means that Matt Chappell is just 1.5 seconds in front of these two. So if Grant Angus can put the foot down and concentrate on what's in front of him, he may be able to catch up to that final qualifying spot. Be very interesting to see how that one develops here, but we've got action going on behind him as well, because we've got Stephen Bramwell, and then just behind him you've got Lewis Day and then Adam Ansell. Now Adam Ansell was up in 6th place, he's dropped all the way back down to 8th place as well, and there's some sort of an issue with that car there. So that means that Stephen Bramwell moves up to 5th place. And we have got a retirement there. Let's see who that is. It was definitely one of that group there. Now, was that Adam Ansell that has just retired? I think it is, actually. I think Adam Ansell has retired for the evening. Your race leader, though, Jonathan Atkinson. Hang on a second. Jonathan Atkinson into the lead now. What has happened to your race leader, Danny Kazar? Now, Danny Kazar was in the leads and has now completely left the session. I wonder, because if you notice, the session is also not jittering about anywhere near as badly as it was. I wonder if Danny Kazar's poor internet connection has decided to give up the ghost on him. So a technical retirement, and your new leader is Jonathan Atkinson. 2nd place at the moment is Matt Chappell, and that means that Grant Angus moves into 2nd place because Matt Chappell goes off at the corner there. That was on the exit of Brooklands and on the entrance to Luffields. So Matt Chappell goes from 2nd place down to 4th, and that now means that James Black back in a qualifying position. Well, that is terrible, terrible luck for Danny Kazar there. Technical problems on lap number 5, and he has to retire from the race. Well, that is a real shame for Danny Kazar there, and that means that Jonathan Atkinson moves into the lead then, 10 seconds ahead of Grant Angus, who's been chased down by James Black. And look at contact behind! That isn't what I was going to talk about, but some really shady driving going on there between Stephen Bramwell and Just Drive. That is Lewis Day. And, you know, at one point or another, one of these drivers is going to have to lift off the throttle there. You can't allow stuff like that to happen, and that means that Stephen Bramwell shoots off into 4th place and is about 1.5 seconds there and moves up into 3rd place. What is going on with Matt Chappell? Matt Chappell having nothing but problems here, and Stephen Bramwell there this time just holding his line. Well, my goodness me, so it's all turned on its head, because at the moment your final qualifier is Stephen Bramwell. Well, deep breath after that one, because we're on our final lap. Your race leader, Jonathan Atkinson, is already halfway round the circuit, 16 seconds behind this battle going on here. This is where we're going to keep our focus just now, because it's for the final qualifying place. Mark Bramwell in the lead, Stephen Bramwell in the lead, and that's a huge move up the inside, and he's lost it. Mark Chappell loses it again, and that is going to be game over. That now means that Stephen Bramwell is in charge and ahead of Lewis Day, and they did have that contact earlier on. Meanwhile, your race leader coming through Maggots and Beckett's, but look at this. Lewis Day is just eyeing up that place, he moves on the inside. Stephen Bramwell goes far too wide at Cops Corner, hands the place over to Lewis Day. Well, there we go. I think that is going to be all she wrote now, because Lewis Day absolutely away with it right now. And your race leader, Jonathan Atkinson, coming down to the final couple of corners. He's into Vale for the final time. Around Club Corner. And it's going to be a win in qualifying heat number 1 for Jonathan Atkinson. 2nd place just coming down just now is going to be James Black. And it's going to be a 3rd place, an unlikely 3rd place for Lewis Day. And there we go, just coming across the line. Well done to James Black. And your final qualifier for Sunday from this first heat goes across the line. Lewis Day in 3rd place then. So, Fourth place then, the best of the rest, Stephen Bramwell in fourth. Fifth place is Adam Ansell. Brilliant drive from Adam Ansell there. Connor Barton in sixth place there. We've got Matt Chappell. What on earth happened to Matt Chappell there? Apart from Matt Chappell. Scott Anderson in 8th place. We've got Shea Brennan in a worthy 9th place there. And rounding out the field then, Ross Cuthbert in 10th place. But wow, oh wow, oh wow. What a fantastic race we had for race number 1. We'll make a few tweaks and see if we can sort out some of the connection issues. Stay with us and we'll be back in just 5 minutes with race number 2. So qualifying is nearly done and dusted here in qualifying heat number 2, and I will just reflect that to let us know that we're on qualifying 2. There we go, that's better. Right, so Xbox One qualifying 2 is underway. We've got 2.5 minutes left, and at the moment it looks like it's Thomas Dorman on top with a 2:04.581. We're still around about 2 seconds behind the times that we had in the first heat there. Some very, very fast times nonetheless. Second place at the moment is going to be Preston Evans. He's got a 2:04.815. Then we have got that is Simon Guest, who is in third place. Chloe Grant up into fourth place, 2:06.335. We have got John Glover in fifth place. We've got Ross Dunn in sixth. You've got Andrew Gilman Abel in 7th place at the moment. John Duncan in 8th place. We've got Ryan Falconbridge in 9th. And then in 10th place we've got Rhys Duthie. And at the back so far, but I've got no doubt that he'll make his way back up, it is the man who was supposed to be in heat number 1. Neil Davis makes his appearance in heat number 2. We have a couple of noticeable absences. We do not have... do we have Chris Geach? Chris Geach was supposed to be in this one. He's not able to make it tonight. Ruben Haig also can't make it, and neither can Mickey Doyle. So 50 seconds left to go in the session, and it is, as I say, still as it was at the top. We've got Simon Guest ahead of Preston Evans, and in fact actually Thomas Durman now down into third place, as we see Ross Dunn up into fourth. So we've already got a comment there from Cormac Patterson wanting to see John Duncan or Andrew Gilman Abel at the top of the podium tonight. We'll see if that happens, because John Duncan at the moment is down in 8th place and Andrew is in 7th place. So qualifying is being marked as complete, and in the bag then we've got the cars coming to make their way round for their final laps just now. Again, apologies about the visual disturbances, the little jitters that you see the cars doing. I've been assured that that is only on us as a viewer, and it isn't affecting the drivers in any way whatsoever. So this is just a bonus, us being able to do these midweek streams. That's why we're doing them on YouTube. The main event is of course on Sunday, and it's all about being able to qualify for Sunday. So there we go then. Compact Tier 97 is Simon Guest. He's in pole position from Preston Evans, who moves up into second place there. We have got... let's have a look there. That's Thomas Durman in third, but it looks like Preston Evans actually is a way to finish his hot lap here. He might be able to do something. He was on a 2:04.401. He's going to go across the line now. Can he improve? No, he can't. So he stays in second place. Ross Dunn going very wide on the run up to the final corner here. So it is, as I said, it's going to be Simon Guest from Preston Evans. Third place is going to be Thomas Dorman. We've got Ross Dunn up into fourth. We've got John Glover in fifth. Chloe Grant in sixth. Andrew Gilman Abel in seventh place. John Duncan in 8th, comes cross line. Can he make any improvements? Nope. And in 9th place is going to be Ryan Falconbridge. 10th place is going to be that man from our previous heat, of course. That is Neil Davis. Neil Davis actually drops down to 11th place there. We did have a 12th in here, but not sure. Presto it. Right, okay. We'll go with that then. Presto Evans. Cameron Evans, sorry. Poor guy. I've been calling him Preston, thinking that's his name, and it's actually Cameron. Never mind. Right. Back to the race then. There's confirmation of your qualifying grid for race number 2 this evening. And Cameron, you're going to be Preston for the rest of this evening, I'm afraid, my man. Right, so let's go through it one last time then. Your grid for the final of qualifying heat number 2. Simon Guest on pole position from Cameron Evans. Third place is going to go to Thomas Durman. Fourth place is Ross Dunn. We've got John Glover in 5th and Chloe Grant in 6th. That's all we've got time for because we've got 11 cars on the grid. The lights are ready to go on. It's Silverstone GP here for qualifying heat number 2. And away we go. And already this is considerably more enjoyable to watch than the last race there. So your race leader Simon Guest goes through turn number 1, and it looks like touchwood all of the cars made their way through unscathed. It's going to be a different matter as we see Neil Davis very late on the brakes there. Oh, we've got a car facing round the wrong way. Who is that facing the wrong way? That is Ross Dunn, who gets collected up there. And quite a few other cars in there as well. That was Ryan Falconbridge. Well, that's not what you want to see on lap 1. So, Simon Guest still in the lead from Cameron Evans. And Chloe Grant up into 3rd place. That's an awesome result for Chloe Grant so far. She's qualified in 6th place and now she's on the podium in that final qualifying place. We've got John Duncan up into 4th. What is going on? JD Bear up into 4th place and Andrew Gilman Abel up into 5th place. So I think you've definitely got the shout there. I need to go and double check who that was. Carmack Patterson. That was a blinder of a call there. So JD Bear and Andrew Gilman Abel onto the chance for qualifying right now. And look at the pressure that John Duncan is under already. He's decided he doesn't want his lights on. I've got no idea how that's happened. We turned visual damage off, so I'm presuming that's been a choice for him to turn his lights off. So back to your race leader then. It is still Simon Guest desperately fighting off Cameron Evans here as they come round the corner there. And wow, what a race we've got so far in this second heat. This is awesome stuff. And this is exactly what you want to see in a race here at Silverstone GP. Because we've had a change in the lead, have we? Cameron Evans went past. He's gone very wide at Copse. That's what's happened there. So it was Cameron Evans that did take the lead very, very briefly, but has given it back to Simon Guest there. We're already on to lap 2. A very good evening to George Orr, who's decided that he is handing over the reins to Brody Orr this evening, even in heat number 4. So we'll be looking forward to see Brody's debut in the championship. In fact, actually, I think Brody took charge at round 1, but we'll double check on that one. Meanwhile, it is still your race leader of Simon Guest from Cameron Evans, just 0.3 of a second separating those guys right now. Chloe Grant in 3rd place, 2 seconds ahead of Andrew Gilman Abel in 4th place, and then JD Bear loses out on 5th place, and he is like a creepy thing with no lights on that car whatsoever. Up into 6th place is going to be Rhys Duthie. 7th place at the moment is going to be John Glover. We've got 8th place for that is Neil Davis, and then in 9th place we've got Ryan Falconbridge. 10th place for Ross Dunn, and 11th place for Thomas Durman. So, hijinks and drama so far. As we come to nearly the end of lap number 2 out of 6 laps here at Silverstone GP. We're going to be going round Stowe Corner here. Oh my goodness me, I just glanced away there and just looked up to see some sort of an issue between Cameron Evans and your race leader at Stowe Corner there. We'll have to have a little look back at that. Simon Guest, in fact, I'll go and watch on the replay there. and the two of them just lost it on the entrance to Stowe Corner. So your race leader now, ladies and gentlemen, is Chloe Grant. Wow, Cameron Evans trying to fight back in second place there, but Chloe Grant in the leads. Andrew Gilman-Abel in third place, and look at that, JD Bear up into fifth. So that is a huge upset right now. Cormac Patterson, that's exactly what I was saying, buddy. That was an amazing call. And JD might be in for a podium as well. But here we go. Cameron Evans is going to go on the inside on the run down towards Brooklands. Makes it work already. So much later on the brakes than Chloe Grant. And your race leader now is Cameron Evans on lap 3 out of 6 here. As we see Andrew Gilman-Abel under pressure here from... that was your former race leader, Simon Guest, who is pressuring him right now. Let's go back with your race leader though as they come through Copse for the third time. Very steady through that corner there, and Chloe is, Chloe has had a huge moment there on the entrance to Copse Corner there and drops herself all the way down into third place, and that means that Andrew Gilman-Abel up into second place, fending off the pressure there from Simon Guest, and they are both 2.5 seconds behind your race leader. That moves John Duncan up into fourth place, just ahead of Chloe Grant. But here we go, this is the fight now as we see Simon Guest up the inside, and that is a huge move there at the entrance to Stowe Corner there. Andrew Gilman-Abel being punted down in towards third place as John Duncan up into fourth ahead of Chloe Grant, and John Glover in sixth place there. Your race leader then starts lap number 4. And second place, as said, is Simon Guest, with third place Andrew Gilman-Abel. 3 seconds between your race leader and second place. And then in third place is Andrew Gilman-Abel. And again, apologies for the visual disturbances with the cars jittering about. You can see David Taylor complaining on stream there, you know. It's probably because the cars aren't just turning left, David. That's maybe the problem here. You're not used to it with all that NASCAR action just now. If you haven't seen it just now, there's loads and loads of sim racing action going on just now. Check out David. He's taking part in the PC races later on this week, and he'll also be out in action, no doubt, tonight in the NASCARs and the street stocks and all that sort of stuff on iRacing. But back to tonight. Glenn, be nice. Be nice. Right, Cameron Evans in the lead on lap 4 from, we have got Simon Guest in second place. I was losing my train of thought there. Andrew Gilman-Abel in third place, and JD Bear in fourth place. But I tell you what, he is under pressure right now from Chloe Grant. Let's go on board with Chloe Grant, because she is hounding John Duncan right now as they come up Hanger Street and down in towards Stowe Corner here. This is awesome stuff right now. Has a better run out of Club Corner here, and they're going to be starting lap number 5. But look at this, Chloe Grant all over the back of John Duncan, and that is allowing Andrew Gilman-Abel to streak away 2 seconds up ahead there. Look at the pace she's got over John Duncan. John Duncan is not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination as the sun starts to rise here at the virtual Silverstone GP, and there's contact there. Oh, this is starting to get a little bit heated, and some very defensive driving going on. Contact again. Chloe, this isn't kart racing. This isn't push to pass. And this is just for the qualifying. Oh my goodness me, this is going to end in tears. You just know it, don't you? Oh my days. I am not wiping the spilt milk after this one as Chloe Grant tries to go round the outside. No such luck. John Duncan holds on to his position. They're round through Brooklands and it's going to be into Luffield again. And there's no way that a move is going to work into Woodcote. Chloe Grant thinks better of it and backs out there. Well, this was thoroughly entertaining. Cameron Evans, though, your race leader as the sun starts to rise here at the virtual Silverstone Gp circuit. 5 seconds behind second place Simon Guest, with Andrew Gilman-Abel in third place. John Duncan at the moment is trying to fend off Chloe Grant, who spins at Maggots and Beckett's. And that drops Chloe Grant. A valiant effort there, drops her all the way down into 6th place there. That means that John Glover moves back up into 5th place. And it looks like it's settled at the moment. Andrew Gilman-Abel into 3rd place. And that final qualifying position, remember, that's what it's all about. But Cameron Evans starts his final lap of the race here for qualifying heat number 2, ahead of Simon Guest and Andrew Gilman-Abel in 3rd place. Valiantly called there, valiantly called by Cormac Patterson. He said that that was going to happen, and that's what it looks like has happened. We're now down to 9 drivers in this race now. We're on the final lap, 7.5 seconds of a gap for Cameron Evans. It's been a brilliant race for him. Simon Guest in 2nd place is falling into the clutches now, just 2 seconds ahead of Andrew Gilman-Abel. John Duncan looking very comfortable in that 4th place. John Glover in 5th and Chloe Grant in 6th place. And we are now just rattling down the moments here. We're on to the back half of the circuit here. Through Copse Corner for Cameron Evans. And it's off into the distance then. We're through the final couple of corners. It's going to be through Abbey and then on to the Hanger Straight. Made it look so easy, his Cameron Evans. It's been a flawless performance. In towards Stowe Corner, that long right-hander, and then it's down into the complex at Vale and Club. And it's going to be a race win then for Cameron Evans. 2nd place is going to be Simon Guest. 3rd place is going to be Andrew Gilman-Abel. Bringing the car round here at Club Corner. And across the line then. That is your 1, 2, 3 going through for Sunday. We've got in 4th place is John Duncan. Spirited effort even from John Duncan. John Glover in 5th place there. Chloe Grant in 6th place. We've got Rhys Duthie in 7th. You've then got Ryan Falconbridge in 8th place and Neil Davis in 9th. So that is your race number 2 out of the way. We've got another 3 to go. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
choices that it's hard not to look past. What is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot think into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for.
Can you tell me when you want to be in time? There's a million different places and a million different heights. I'll climb the tallest of the mountains, the highest place I find, so that I can look over before me what is mine. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you when you went into hiding on the front steps of your porch? Then I reflected on the memories, but I put out that torch. Hey! But I put out that torch. But I put out that torch. Oh, why can't you see? It was all because of me. And all I want is to be free. And finally I can be free. Can you say that I disappeared? Can you say that I wasn't there for you? Can you say that? That's what I'm looking for.
Well, it's safe to say that that track is getting thrown firmly into the bin. If there's one thing that I can't stand more than laggy races, it's dubstep. So there you go. Qualifying heat number 3 is underway for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, and yet again I'll preface it with the apology that the cars are appearing to band about. The consensus is, at least for the drivers, it's a little bit better and they're able to drive again. We've looked into why this happens, we've got absolutely no idea. The bandwidth isn't an issue, there's plenty of bandwidth to go around, it's just that it's not sending enough data to all of the drivers. We will make our way through it, and if it gets any worse then we'll ditch the stream and we will host the finals and keep you guys updated about what happens. Right, so heat number 3, let's have a look at who we have got in this one. We have got Andrew McKinley, we've got Chris Milford, Tam Hamill, we've got Jamie Lethwaite, we've got John Higgins Jr., Callum Eldrin, we've got John Higgins, Alex Hawcutt, Charlie Kelso, Liam Kelso, Reese Knight, Oliver Hunter, Damien Hurst, Robert McGregor, and some guy that I've never really heard before of, Stevie McNabb. I've got no idea who that is. Some random guy. I think he might have just snuck his way in here. Of course, I jest Stevie McNabb, no stranger to the action at Knock Hill, and already we've had somebody dropping out. That is not too good. So, qualifying heat 3, we've got 2 more heats to go, and as I said yesterday, it's really difficult for me to believe that we're already on week 4 of this championship. It has just flown by. It really has been a fantastic experience. I know you guys keep saying how much you've enjoyed it. I personally have had an absolute ball hosting and organising this and working with the SMRC to deliver this, and it has just been such a blast, so much fun. And yeah, we've had some times where there's been some questionable driving standards, but it's a series that's open to the public. Yeah, you're always going to get that. The next one that the SMRC are organising, I believe, will be possibly a members only affair, and they will be taking it much more seriously, and driving standards will be punished and things like that. So if you are looking for a serious race series, keep your ears on the ground, because I know for a fact they're working very, very hard behind the scenes to put the final touches to that, and that will be absolutely fantastic when they unveil that. And if you aren't already a member of the SMRC, then why not consider joining it? You don't have to be a racing driver, you don't have to be out on track, you can take advantage of their social membership as well. Check out smrc.co.uk, wink wink, nudge nudge, read between the lines. 3 minutes left to go in the session. And just reading there that one of our drivers, Liam Kelso, has disconnected from the session. That is Celtic Racing. Right, let's have a look here. You're absolutely right. Don't worry about that. We will get Liam in the next session. We've got plenty of space throughout the evening, so if he is disconnected from this one, we will get him out, Stephen, into the next one. What will happen is, if he disconnects during qualifying, if he's not back in before 3 minutes of qualifying remaining, he won't be allowed back in. That's just one of the weird rules of the game itself. So not to worry, we will get him into a session tonight, one of the later ones, and we'll make it sure it's one where all the pros are in. But no, we will get Liam Kelso back in the session. Thank you very much, Stephen, for pointing that one out. So let's have a look at the times coming in then, because Tam Hamill is the man to watch, really. He is just storming through this championship. We've got, who else have we got in the championship that is worth looking for? Pretty sure Ian Wilson and Tam Hamill are really, really going at it, hammer and tongs proverbially, so far. So Tam Hamill up into pole position. And second place at the moment is Andrew McKinley. Third place is Robert McGregor. Fourth place is going to be Jamie Lethwaite, doing all sorts of donuts and power slides and all sorts of stuff. Right, Chris Milford, I'm expecting big things from him, not through Stowe, obviously. We've got OTL Miyagi struggling with the rear wheels on this car, Damien Hirst. We've got Jimmy Bob Jr., that is Callum Meldrum. We have got Rhys Knight, John Higgins, and we've also got Charlie Kelso as well. Stevie McNabb. Let's put all the pressure on young Stevie McNabb. Let's go on board with him as he comes through Vale and in towards Club. No pressure, lads. Come on. 40 seconds left. This is it. This is going to be the pole position run right here. We're watching it on board. Right. Across the start-finish line then, and we will take you round a lap of Silverstone. We're going to come up to turn 1. That is Abbey, very deceptive right-hander there. And then it is straight into Farm Curve. Number 2, and then it's onto the brakes for Village, and then into the loop. Turn number 4, again a very, very tight left-hander here. You don't want to take too much, but then you don't want to be too late on letting go and bringing back in the throttle. It's then into Aintree and down the Wellington Straight. Onto the brakes in towards Brooklands here. Again, you want to pull it in nice and gentle. There we go, Stevie. Good stuff, mate. Good stuff. Right, in towards Luffield. I feel like I'm doing a little bit of impromptu driver coaching here. And the reason you'll see the car moving from left to right is that there is a lot of weight in these Porsche 911 GT3s. The car will weave about from left to right, underweight there, as we come along the back straight here in towards Cops Corner. This is one of the hardest corners on the circuit. You want to try and be nice and early in, and there we go. That's not going to do it. Stevie McNabb is going to have his lap completely invalidated there, and in towards Maggots and Beckett's, and we will just avert our gaze. We're not angry. We're just disappointed, Stevie. Your pole sitter so far then is Andrew McKinley, with Tam Hamill in second place, Robert McGregor in third place, and then Jamie Lethwaite in fourth. We've got John Higgins into sixth place, and that is Jimmy Bob Jr. That is, of course, Callum Meldrum, who bumps himself up into fourth place there. So brilliant work there. Chris Milford down in seventh place there. We've got OTL Miyagi, which is Damien Hirst, in eighth place. John Higgins in ninth place. We've got Reese Knight in 10th, and then we have got Charlie Kelso in 11th place. Yeah, I know, Jonathan, I really shouldn't have cursed them the way that I did, but it's done now. I can't take it back. Stephen, that's a great point. I didn't actually realise that. Is that right? Are you? Yeah, okay. So apparently, Charlie is significantly younger than the majority of drivers taking part tonight. And yeah, I'm not gonna mention it just until we actually find out how well he does in the race, because that will be Tam Hamill. What are you, Tam Hamill? That's not even Tam Hamill. That's the AI just deciding that they've had enough. So there you go then. In first place you have got Andrew McKinley, second place is Tam Hamill, Robert McGregor in third, and then in fourth place is Callum Meldrum, fifth place is Jamie Lethwaite, and then in sixth place it is John Higgins Jr. You've got in seventh place John Higgins, eighth place is going to be Chris Milford, you've got Damien Hirst in ninth place, Reese Knight in 10th, 11th place is going to be Charlie Kelso, and then in 12th place at the back of the grid is Stevie McNabb. We are ready to go racing here, ladies and gentlemen. The cars are doing their final preparations, and let's hear what you think is going to happen in that race as we wait for the cars to ready themselves up. And we will have a look on board at the start of things. Just waiting for the green flag to get waved in for our final of qualifying heat 3 to get underway here. Again, the drivers get up to 2 minutes to make their final preparations to ready themselves up, and the screen goes black because we are ready to go. It's a race through the night for qualifying heat number 3. The red lights are on, and we are underway at Silverstone GP then. And it looks like it's a reasonable start for all of the cars involved as they make their way through that first corner. All going very wide here. We'll cut to the trackside camera. Oh, we've got a car going fired off into the barriers there. That was Robert McGregor, and we've got a car sitting on top of one another. What on earth is going on here? Right, how's that happened? Stevie McNabb is up into 7th place. He's made up 6 places by turn 3. Well, my goodness me, this is awesome action going on here. Goodness knows how this is all going to pan out right now. And David Taylor, you'll be glad to know that none of these cars will be running out of fuel tonight in the Porsches. They're all filled to the gunnel with no fuel consumption on the cars at all. So as we go through lap 1 then, it is still your race leader, Andrew McKinley from Tam Hamill. Then up into 3rd place is Callum Meldrum. 4th place is Charlie Kelso. Amazing work so far. We've got Chris Milford getting a little bit of a nudge there. There's side-by-side action, and they both go off. Chris Milford sends... That is terrible. Chris Milford has a robust coming together with what we're being told is a 9-year-old boy. You have destroyed a young boy's dreams, Chris Milford. Shame on you. Of course, I'm joking. The two of them were being very robust with their defending of that line there. Yeah. Yes, David Taylor, I am taking a poke at you doing NASCAR yesterday and being in second place and running out of fuel 7 laps before the end. But back to the race here. Andrew McKinley then comes across the line to start lap number 2. He's a second and a half in the lead against Tam Hamill. Tam Hamill just needs to get boot down and qualify for this weekend. Callum Meldrum in 3rd place. It's then Chris Milford in 4th place. What has happened to Stevie McNabb? He's all the way down in 11th place right now. He's still ahead of Charlie Kelso, but Stevie McNabb now 15 seconds behind the main group here. Chris Milford still with a chance of qualifying for the final. Robert McGregor in a fight here with John Higgins. And John Higgins going very, very wide as they come around the arena. And that means that Jamie Lethwaite is in with a chance of this little battle as well here. As we see Reese Knight and John Higgins Jr. fighting it out. As I've got no idea why Damien Hirst is flashing his lights to nobody down the back straight here. So this is all simmering over rather nicely as we see Robert McGregor and John Higgins fighting it out still, 0.5 of a second behind them as they go through Copse Corner, and we are on lap 2 out of 6. And Stephen McNabb on his own in 11th place there. Reese Knight trying to catch up onto the back of John Higgins there, but it's not going to happen right now. Front 3 are very, very comfortable at the moment. It is, as I say, Andrew McKinley in the lead from Tam Hamill, and then it is Callum Meldrum. Those are your 3 qualifiers at the moment, but it is all going a bit crazy behind them. We see Chris Milford being hunted down by Robert McGregor, who has got a bit of clear air from John Higgins. John Higgins now under pressure from Jamie Lethwaite here, as they come round Club Corner and over the line to start lap number 3. And at the back of the grid, Charlie Kelso just making his way round. Look at this action here. This is the battle for 6th and 7th place. This is John Higgins trying to defend from Jamie Lethwaite. And John Higgins was trying to catch on to the back of Robert McGregor, who is liking flashing those lights. He's behind Chris Milford, trying to distract him using every single trick in the book here. And the stewards are not going to be impressed with this one. We don't like to see that sort of stuff, but we've got 3 cars within 0.5 of a second there, as you see Jamie Lethwaite cutting the nose off of John Higgins. He's got the move done, and John Higgins is still just ahead. Who is that has turned round the wrong way? Was that Robert McGregor? I think it was, because Robert McGregor is now down in 8th place. Well, that is a huge turn up for the books there. We've still got Chris Milford in 4th place ahead of Jamie Lethwaite. Jamie Lethwaite was fighting with Robert McGregor there, and that has all come to a head. John Higgins now just ahead of Damien Hirst, and Robert McGregor trying to catch back on to that train. And we come out of Abbey with the leader then, Andrew McKinley. So smooth and so in control right now. Last lap was a 2:03.419. And we've only got 2 laps left to go in this race. And again, he stretched that lead out even more now by another half a second here. So it is still Andrew McKinley from Tam Hamel, and then you've got Callum Meldrum in 3rd place as well. Chris Milford now getting backed up into the rest of that group. Jamie Lethwaite is desperately trying to catch on to the back of him as well. John Higgins with Damien Hirst and Robert McGregor in tow as well. And if Rhys Knight is going to have to watch himself because he's fallen into the clutches of Stevie McNabb now as well. And these nighttime conditions are very, very difficult for these drivers. Chris Milford under attack here from Jamie Lethwaite. They're side by side, and Chris Milford just holds on to the lead ahead of Jamie Lethwaite as they go through Maggots and Beckett's. But it's only going to be a matter of time because they're going to come out of Abbey, and that's a brilliant run for Jamie Lethwaite here. Let's go on board with Jamie and see his view coming down the hangar straight here. They're going to be coming up towards Stowe. Onto the brakes and the right-hander there. Slightly late on the brakes. And great to see some support coming in for Andrew McKinley there. A very good evening to Craig Lax, who was seen incredibly dominant in the PC races. Scott Malcolm, now that is a name. A very good evening, Mr. Scott Malcolm. Fantastic of you to join us. Know Scott Malcolm very well, fellow sim racer, races in the BSR sim racing series over on iRacing, and a fellow Knockhill enthusiast. We see him all the time up there for the British Touring Car Championship. So lap 5 out of 6 here, and we have only got a few more corners to go for Andrew McKinley to crack off here. And we're going to be going through Copse Corner. Some lovely words there from John Duncan, JD24. You're very, very welcome, buddy. It's been my absolute pleasure. Honestly, the racing has been so much fun to watch, and as a sim racing enthusiast myself, see when you get somebody else that you're absolutely battling it out with all race long, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter how far down the order you are, whether it's for the leads or for 3rd, 4th to 12th place. All that matters is beating that person. So glad you had a cracking battle there with Chloe Grant, and yeah, it was great for us to watch as well. But your race leader is into the sunset and into the sunrise for Andrew McKinley, because he's coming round Club Corner and he's going to be starting his final lap. It's been another flawless performance as well for Tam Hamel. He's just been slightly outperformed here by Andrew McKinley, and we see Callum Meldrum as well in 3rd place as well. They have been absolutely faultless in this race so far. They all come across the line to start their final lap of the race. In 4th place though is going to be Jamie Lethwaite, because Chris Milford down into 6th place. We've got Damien Hirst up into 5th place, as I said. Chris Milford in 6th. You've got Robert McGregor in 7th. You've then got John Higgins in 8th place with Rhys Knight in 9th. You've then got John Higgins down in 10th place, as well as Charlie Kelso in 11th. And something else has happened to Stevie McNabb. He is really, really struggling to get to grips with this car. A 223 that last time round, but again, we will focus on your race leader. Edward, that's yet to be announced. I would imagine, yes, if there is going to be a members only one, the reason it'll be members only one is so that they can introduce rules and big trophies and big prizes and make it quite exclusive. Try and make it a proper affair. So I would imagine at the moment, I do believe it will be streamed live on social media as well. So that's all I know at the moment, but keep your ear to the ground and they'll be announcing some more information very, very shortly. But back to tonight, we have only got 4 more corners to go for Andrew McKinley. It has been a flawless performance from him. We're down the Hanger Straight, we've got Stowe Corner left to go. And then it's going to be down in towards Vale and Club Corner for the final time. From start to finish, it's been an exemplary drive. It's been a demonstration drive. It's been fantastic for Andrew McKinley. He comes out of Club Corner and Andrew McKinley wins qualifying heat number 3 for Xbox One. Second place is going to go the way of Tam Hamill. And then in third place, it's going to be Callum Meldrum taking that final qualifying position for Sunday's last ever finals here for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship. And look at that, Damien Hurst in 4th place from Jamie Lethwaite. Robert McGregor recovers to finish in 6th place as we see Chris Milford getting the car home potentially in 8th place there. We see Reese Knight down into 9th and John Higgins into 8th place, from Chris Milford, who's under all sorts of pressure right now. So there we go, Chris Milford 7th, John Higgins in 8th place, we've got Reese Knight in 9th, we have got John Higgins in 10th place, Charlie Kelso finishes in 11th place, and then Stevie McNabb at the back of the grids. So again, that is your top 3 then. Congratulations to Andrew McKinley, to Tam Hamill and to Callum Meldrum. We'll take a very, very short break, but when we return we are going to have race number 4 for the Xbox One.
calling out, save me. I'm going down. Take me to another town where I can rest my bones. I can rest my bones safely. Even when I'm together, I'm miles apart. Feel I'm running forever, get back to the start. I don't know if I'm broken or if I am just not trying. But we're feeling alive even when we are slowly dying. Shine a mirror on me. See my reflection, who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see? Who am I really supposed to see?
And ladies and gentlemen, it's my sad duty to inform you that we've lost a car already. Robbie Pennycook obviously involved there in a very dramatic incident on Hanger Straight there. His car currently upside down and is quite literally a ghost. How? Right, here's what I want to know. How do you manage to crash your car on a straight? You know? I just... Wow. I'm kind of morbidly curious as well. And I love how other cars are now deliberately aiming for it. Right. So, back to the action on hand. I can't take that out of my head now. We have got qualifying session number 4 underway here for the Xbox One. No, Glenn, we've not all done it, mate. We've not all done that on our roof. And of course he can't reset himself either. Oh, no, technically he could just press start and go back to the pit lane. Right, okay, so our top drivers at the moment. Chrissy Miller in pole position, 204.061. We have then got that man, SDBX Wind. That is Josh McNabb in second place, 204.516. We have got DK Smoody, that is Sam Moody in third place, and then Agent Zigzag, that is Cormac Patterson, who we heard earlier on with the divine prediction that we were going to get a podium place from Andrew Gilman Abel, and he was absolutely on the money. I wonder if he's going to have more premonitions about his own driving tonight. We have got Boss Lambo 77666, that is Cameron Morrison, one of the drivers that's been with us through from the start of the series. We've then got Steth Curry, that is Dylan Morrison, and then Superior B 3300 is Innes Miller. We have got Aberdeen MK, that is Mikey Perrott. Michael Perrott in 9th place. We've then got FTN Shock. Now that was due to be George Orr, because at the beginning it was Brodie Orr and then George took over, and now it's back to Brodie, and I've got to say Brodie is looking a little bit faster than George. I'm sorry, George. We've then got Thomas O'Connor, who I know very well from my little Traction Days secret chat group that we've got going on Facebook. So there's a lot of abuse and banter getting thrown his way. Right, delighted to say as well that Robbie Pennycook is back on his wheels and is now away to set times. David Taylor. Words fail me. I almost don't want to reply to that. Apparently David Taylor's got a big list of who he would put upside down. And from watching his live streams on Facebook, by the way, if you haven't had a look, go and have a look, that would include the pace car, because he almost took that out last night and then got black flagged. So anyway, back to tonight, qualifying heat number 4, and it is still Chrissy Miller from Josh McNabb by just 0.4 of a second, and then it is a light year ahead of everyone else. Sam Moody currently in 3rd place. We've got Agent Zigzag up into 4th place. That is of course Cormac Patterson. David, I love how you retort to that as the pace car's a ghost car. That's from experience. You've tried to take the pace car out and you've been frustrated that you can't. That's what's happened there. Right, 6 seconds. And again, guys, thank you so much for all the kind words coming through on chat about the series. I'm really glad that you've enjoyed it. My goodness me, there's been a massive learning experience. We all learned so much in week 1 about how to put on an event, but we got there eventually, and Chrissy Miller coming into contact there with another car. You hate to see it. Who was that he collided with? I've got a feeling that might have been Aberdeen MK, but let's have a look here, because Josh McNabb completes his lap. At the moment then, Chrissy Miller ahead of Josh McNabb in 2nd place. That is your front row. Sam Moody and then Cormac Patterson is row 2. Row 3 is going to be Cameron Morrison and Brodie Orr. Row 4? SMRC, is going to be Thomas O'Connor, and we've got James Petrie, who we haven't mentioned yet so far. We've then got Dylan Morrison alongside Innes Miller, and then we have got Robbie Pennycook alongside Mikey Perrott. So here we are then. We are all set for our penultimate race of the evening, and then we go to the PCs tomorrow night, where they don't lag out everywhere. Hooray! But yeah, some fantastic racing coming up tomorrow night, and there is a huge battle going on. But don't go anywhere, because in our next heat, we have got one of the main players for the championship. We have got Aidan Wilson. AJW Racing is in the next heat. Now, those of you that were listening last week may have heard that I got a little bit carried away, because what had happened was, while we were at, no, where were we last week? We were at Brands Hatch. I got a little bit carried away with pronouncing Aidan Wilson as our new saviour and lord and champion of the PS4s, when in fact I'd mistakenly thought he'd won all 6 races. He'd only won 5 out of the 6 races, because he'd only won race 2 out of that weekend. He actually was, I think, 3rd in race number 1. So the championship is still absolutely up for grabs. We've seen Tam Hamill qualifying for Sunday. It is going to be Aidan Wilson's turn in the next qualifying heat. So the drivers now making their final preparations for the race. Yeah, I know, Aidan, but you must have loved it at the time, because I was singing you as the second coming. Aidan Wilson is we're going to confirm it, he is going to be the champion, and it's like, no, he's not. He's got a little bit more work to do. Right. It's time to calm it down a bit, bring it down a notch just for a couple of minutes, because we have got heat number 4 on the go, and 12 cars going to be taking in part in this one. Going to be a fascinating battle between Chrissy Miller and Josh McNabb. We are ready to go. Christopher Miller on pole position. The lights are on. And away we go. Great start for 4th place there, as we watch the cars making their way down. It is still Chrissy Miller from Josh McNabb down into turn 1 for the first time of asking, and all the cars starting to scatter all over the place. We'll actually go on board with Josh McNabb just to keep a little eye on this just now. Let's not, because that is making me very nauseous right now. But Josh McNabb trying to catch up to your leader Christopher Miller. It's still Sam Moody in 3rd place, and Robbie Pennycook somehow, after spending 3/4 of the qualifying session on his roof, is now up into 4th place. So that is a fantastic effort from him just now. And remember, it is all about 3 cars going through to the final on Sunday. And it looks like all of the cars getting through, apart from Mikey Perrott, who is now 13 seconds behind the group here. But back to your race leader, and it is still Chrissy Miller just in the lead by 0.2 of a second from Josh McNabb, and Josh McNabb is on the hunt right now. This is where it is all going to come down to. They're almost side by side as they come into Maggots and Beckett's. Oh my goodness me, and this is only lap 1. What on earth is going on here? We'll go on board with Josh McNabb, who is now in the lead from Chrissy Miller. They come out of Abbey and down the hangar straight. Josh McNabb is your new race leader, and we are already into race 1 then. Huge action there, and that was a dramatic pass for the lead. On the brakes into Stowe Corner here. And that was a ballsy move from young Josh McNabb. And we see Robbie Pennycook fighting off with Broadyor there. Broadyor having a fantastic opening lap there as well. We didn't really get a chance to see him, but he's all the way up into 5th place there. So a really, really good lap there from Brodie Orr. Meanwhile, your race leader then, still Josh McNabb from Chrissy Miller in 3rd place. It is Cormac Patterson in that final qualifying place, but he is being hunted down by Robbie Pennycook, and then it is Brodie Orr in 6th place. It is James Petrie in 7th place. Is going to be Cameron Morrison, followed by Sam Moody. Sam Moody with a heck of a fall from grace there. We've then got Innes Miller down in 10th place. It's Thomas O'Connor in 11th, and then oh no, you don't want to see that. Mikey Perrott having an absolute mare today as he reverses it out back onto the track there, and he is going to be getting caught up by leaders very, very shortly, as we see Josh McNabb now making his way round to catch up. We're already through Copse Corner then. Now he is going to be catching up with Mikey Perrott very, very shortly, so let's keep an eye on Mikey Perrott. Josh McNabb though, 2 seconds of a gap already over Chrissy Miller in 2nd place. Where has that pace come from? Because he is absolutely flying right now, as we've got Cormac Patterson in 3rd place as well, and he's trying to catch up to the tail of that group as well. But Robbie Pennycook still with Brodie Orr just behind. 0.6 of a second as they come up the Hanger Straight. They're going to be coming up to Stowe here. It's down into Vale and then round Club Corner to rack up and start lap number 3. Chrissy Miller, and I wonder if it's this heavy fuel load, because remember there's no fuel usage in this, so what happens is that the car is laden with a full 60 litres of fuel, enough fuel to get you through the entire race, but it doesn't go down, so you're constantly on that fuel amount. So it's still Josh McNabb from Chrissy Miller, and then it is Cormac Patterson in 3rd place, Robbie Pennycook in 4th, just ahead of Brodie Orr, and Brodie Orr is really, really trying to take that place right now. They're hard on the brakes as they come through Luffield. So our penultimate race of the evening here, qualifying heat number 4. They're well and truly into the darkness here. And the darkness lasts until around about the start of lap 5, when we see the sun starting to rise and that gap is going up. And I tell you what, Cormac Patterson may be on course to take a 2nd place here, because he is just 1.9 seconds behind 2nd place. Josh McNabb now streaking off into the distance, well over 3 seconds of a lead, and I think we are seeing the development of a brand new Charger here. And this is great news, but I tell you what, this is not great news for Fraser McNeil. He is going to have to dig deep into his pockets after another storming performance from Josh McNabb tonight. Lap 3 out of 6. And this has been awesome, awesome stuff to watch. They're through Stowe Corner, down in towards Vale Corner for the 3rd time. And it'll be starting to get light very, very soon. That gap again now, 4.5 seconds between 1st and 2nd place. And now we're seeing Cormac Patterson reeling in at Chrissy Miller. We'll not do that, but we will go on board with Cormac Patterson. Look how close that Chrissy Miller is in that 2nd place there. This is well and truly on. And we see Chrissy Miller going very, very wide at turn 1, and a flash of lights from Cormac Patterson to let him know that he is there, and that time is coming down, down, down. They're into turn number 3. Cormac Patterson's going to try and take the inside line for the arena here, and is it going to work? I think so. There is something desperately, desperately unhappy with that car of Chrissy Miller, and Chrissy Miller loses it. Oh, that is such a shame. He lost it on the exit of turn 4 there. You saw it happen, and you hate to see it. So Chrissy Miller down into 3rd place then. And that now leaves Josh McNabb to absolutely streak away with this race win so far. 2 laps left to go, but here we go. Robbie Pennycook now in a heck of a battle with Brodior, and Brodior has now got Cameron Morrison having a little sniff up the inside as well. No such luck here, but there's 4 cars within 4 seconds right now, and this is allowing Robbie Pennycook to get a little bit of daylight between him and the cars behind him. So here is your race leader then, coming down Hanger Straight in towards Stowe for the 4th time. He will be starting the penultimate lap very, very shortly. It has been a fantastic pace that Josh McNabb has had through this race, but a brilliant, brilliant effort from Cormac Patterson, and we saw him predicting race results earlier on. I don't think he could have predicted this one, as we see Chrissy Miller having a big, big moment through Stowe. What has happened there to Chrissy Miller? A spin on the inside, and that could hand Robbie Pennycook the final qualifying place, but it could go to any one of them right now. It's going to be a run down to the line to start lap number 5, and this is all going to get very, very interesting indeed. Let's go and stay with Robbie Pennycook, because remember, just behind him is Cameron Morrison, and Brodior is in there as well somewhere. Yeah, there's Brodior behind Cameron Morrison. Well, this is quite the dramatic turn of events here. Chrissy Miller is under so much pressure right now from Robbie Pennycook. Is he going to be able to handle all that pressure? That is going to be the question right now. As we see Brodior catching onto the back of Cameron Morrison. He's got the toe as they're going to be coming down in towards turn number 7, turn 6 and 7. They're into Brooklands now, and then through the right-hander at Luffield, and Brodior does a fantastic job of holding on to that spin. That car was snapping off to the left. You saw him losing control there, but that is going to put him out of contention for that podium spot there. We're down to 10 cars here as we've got a car dropping out there, but it's still Josh Orr in the lead on lap 5. And the sun starts to rise here for the penultimate lap of the race, and it's the penultimate race of the evening as well. Cormac Patterson though, fantastic, fantastic drive from him. Is Chrissy Miller going to be able to hold on to this? That is the big question right now, because Robbie Pennycook is hot on his tail, but he's also got another 2 cars behind that trying to catch on, but the gap now 2.5 seconds. I think if Chrissy can hold on to that, then that's obviously going to set him in good steading for the qualifying on Sunday. He'll just dust his shoulders off and get on with it. But nearly 10 seconds, in fact that is 10 seconds of a gap. As we start the final lap of the race, Josh McNabb is 10 seconds ahead of second place, ahead of Cormac Patterson. 17 seconds ahead of Chrissy Miller, and the pace has been absolutely relentless so far. Your race leader then down into Luffield and through the old half of the circuit, the traditional half of the Silverstone GP circuit. He's got to navigate Copse Corner for one final time, 11.5 seconds ahead of everyone else in the pack. This has been a sensational run for young Josh McNabb. And it's going to be through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. Makes that work, no problem whatsoever. Through Abbey. And then it's going to be down to Stowe Corner, that epic right-hander for the final time. This has been a stunning performance to take victory from Chrissy Miller. But it's going to be Josh McNabb making his way round the last quarter of the circuit. He's only got 3 corners left to go. He's successfully round Stowe, down to Vale for the final time, and then round Club Corner. And what a fantastic win. This is going to be Xbox One qualifying heat number 4 goes the way of Josh McNabb. Second place is going to go to Cormac Patterson. Third place is going to go to Chrissy Miller after a desperate battle there with Robbie Pennycook and Cameron Morrison with Brodior. A spirited effort there, a brilliant effort from young Brodior in 6th place. They're going to come across the line out of Club Corner just now. Sam Moody isn't going to qualify this week. He's down in 7th place. And then we see James Petrie down in 8th place as well, with Innes Miller in 9th place. So we see Thomas O'Connor not finishing the race. Actually, he's retired from the race. A stunning race window for Josh McNabb. And 11.5 seconds ahead of the entire field. A brilliant drive, and I'm absolutely stunned by that one because we've seen some very dominant drives through the Xbox season, but that is well and truly up there. And it does make you wonder what would have happened if Josh McNabb had been in the season before this. So, 5 minutes left to go and we will have heat number 5 for Xbox One. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
that it's hard not to look past what is real and what is fake, and the risk we have to take. Will we know what is throwing off our balance? We're trying to find ourselves without the defining words. We can no longer hold on to what only makes us hurt. We cannot think into the dark. The vertigo is getting sharp. There's something greater than ourselves that we must reach for. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach. Into the infinite that we must reach.
So one of the things that I've one of the things that I've got today is obviously help promote the stream. So because I've been organising this with the SMRC, I've got access to their Facebook page so that I can put the stream on their page. And every so often you get a message regarding the stream that comes in that I'm privy to see. And one of them is from a lovely message from Jackie Chalmers. Thank you so much for messaging Jackie. Can you pass a message on to the commentator that I think he's really good? He's the new Murray Walker. Look forward to racing in round 4. I'm literally going to take that as like the biggest compliment I will ever get in my career. Thank you so much, Jackie. I very, very much appreciate the kind words there. Let's hope that we keep the Murrayisms down to a minimum. And 2 cars in the leads and they're both there. That sort of thing. Right, we have got our final race of the evening is underway. We've got qualifying going on just now. This is, of course, qualifying heat number 5, which means that I'll have to go and change the little thing to say qualifying heat number 5. Just like that. There we go, that's much better. Right. So in this heat we have got some big heavy hitters right now. So we've got your championship leader Aidan Wilson with Angus Scrivener, we've got Jamie Roger, we've got Mark Wyness, we've got John Proctor, Mark Watson, Tom Porter, Don Wheatley, Chris Seaton, Glenn Watt, Stuart Wyness, Gary Robertson, Thomas Wood and Callum Reid in action tonight. And at the Xbox the points are as follows. Aidan Wilson is topping the scoring with 127 points from Tam Hamill in second place with 90 points. Jonathan Atkinson is in third place with 65 points. It's then William Black with 39 points, James Black with 30 and Christian Bazell with 30 as well. That is who we've got in the Xbox finals. So we've got 4.5 minutes left to go in qualifying, and we'll leave you with a bit of music while we watch it.
To be free, and finally I can be
I honestly thought I'd got rid of this song. Never mind, never mind. 2.5 minutes left to go in qualifying for the final race of the evening for Xbox One. And no surprises to see who is at the top of the timing screens. Aiden Wilson up there in second place, albeit with a 2:04.798. In the lead though is the Dark Q. That is Gary Robertson with a 2:03.461. So that is a second and a half ahead of Aiden Wilson. Remember, all Aiden Wilson needs to do is get himself through to the final. That's his only job right now, because he has got that, what's that? It's a 37-point lead over Tam Hamill in second place. So second place for Aiden Wilson. Third place at the moment is Westy V8. Now that is Callum Reid, and that is probably one of his strongest performances so far. Stu Winus in fourth place, and then it is Cos 106. That's Jamie Roger in fifth place at the moment. These guys are capable of much faster times. We'll maybe see that in the next minute or so as the cars come round. We have got Dom Wheatley down in sixth place with down in seventh place, excuse me, as we've got Thomas Wood in eighth place, and then it is Glenn Watts in ninth place, and then we have got Mark Winus down in 10th. It's Angus Scrivener in 11th place, and in 12th place we have got Tom Porter, John Proctor in 13th place, and then it is Mark Watson in the pit lane in 14th place, really struggling to get to grips with that car. 25 seconds left to go in the session. We're just watching them put in their final laps just now. Gary Robertson's going to come across the line and doesn't improve on his time. In fact, is that? No, that's him going into Cop's corner, isn't it? Sure that is him going to Cops. We'll find out in just a second anyway. Yeah, it is. So he's still halfway through the circuit as well. Oh, goes very wide at Maggots and Beckett's, but he is on a charge right now, and he is your current pole sitter by a second and a half, as we see Ian Wilson coming round Luffields, and he's on a charge. He is flashing the lights and wants everyone to know that he is on his way. But have a look at that. That is a decent time from Callum Reid. Just 0.2 of a second. In fact, sorry, excuse me, a second and a half off of Ian Wilson. But just not even 0.2 of a second. About 0.02 of a second ahead of Stuart Winus in fourth place there. So let's have a look at what Ian Wilson can do. He absolutely throws the car into Maggots and Beckett's there, and then he comes out through Abbey to go along Hanger Straight. I love the fact that we've got Funkin' Donuts on YouTube chanting, being a cheerleader for Callum Reid right now. And rightfully so, Westy V8 with a fantastic third place at the moment. But it's all about what Aiden Wilson can do here, because you never want to look past this young man right now. 2:03.461 is the pole sitting time, but has Aiden Wilson got anything for that? And Peter Robertson with some sage advice about just taking it home. That's exactly what he needs to do. Aiden Wilson goes across the line. He improves, but just gets pipped by your pole sitter, Gary Robertson, who is still on a fast lap just now. Gary Robertson comes across the line. Can he improve? No, he does not. So 2:03.461 for Gary Robertson. Aiden Wilson comes across the line and is 0.05 of a second slower. So that is a huge effort there in qualifying. There is Gary Robertson, Aiden Wilson, and Westy V8 Callum Reid in third place, and Stu Winus in fourth place, and in fifth place we've got Chris Seaton. So we're going to get ready for the race. we'll also jump into a little party so that they can't hear us and we can't hear them, because that's what we want. And there we go. We are set for the race then. We got to the top 5. In 6th place it is Jamie Roger. 7th place is going to be Thomas Wood. 8th place is going to be Glenn Watts. In 9th place it's Mark Winus. In 10th place it's Angus Scrivener. 11th place is Tom Porter. 12th place is John Proctor. And then Mark Watson at the back of the grid. But here we go, we are ready to go racing for the final time tonight. The Xbox One qualifying heat number 5. We got a jump start there. That is somebody well and truly jumping the start. I think that might have been Thomas Wood there. Away we go, and that's going to be a drive-through penalty at the very, very least there. And all heck is breaking loose right now as we see. What on earth? How has that happened? Callum Reid is into the lead of the race, ladies and gentlemen. Short-lived though, because Stu Winus wipes him out. That was maybe a bit of an exaggeration. Stu Winus just outbroke himself going into the corner there. But there we go then. Gary Robertson in the leads from... now hang on a second, I need to go and have a look because we've got 13 cars. I don't see Aidan Wilson. What has happened to Aidan Wilson? Aidan Wilson with a technical issue, and Aidan Wilson is out of the race. Oh my goodness me. High drama. So it's currently Gary Robertson from Stu Winus and Dominic Wheatley. Tom Porter in 5th place there. As we see Gary Robertson in the lead then ahead of Stuart Winus and John Wheatley in 3rd place. Now what on earth has happened to our beloved Westie? We see Callum Reid all the way down in 6th place there. 7th place now. He's losing places hand over fist. He might be able to make that 6th place back up there. That is never going to be 3 wide down hanger straight. That's never going to work. Oh, and that's naughty. Who was that in front? That was Dom Wheatley. And a little bit of contact there with Tom Porter. And forcing poor Callum Reid onto the grass there. And, yeah. Just taking a quick break there to pass our commiserations on to Aidan Wilson's steering issues and the Xbox disconnecting. I am absolutely devastated. We have been robbed of probably one of the best finals that we were on terms to have here. So upset for poor Aidan Wilson there. It was going to be a strong performance, but this is what happens in sim racing. Technical issues, just like in real life, can occur at the very, very worst of times, ladies and gentlemen. We are on lap 2 of race number 5, our final race for the Xbox One contingent, and it is still Gary Robertson now, a country mile out in front. 3 seconds up the road from Stuart Winus, and then in 3rd place is Jamie Roger in that final qualifying position, looking very comfortable, I've got to say, because behind him it's Tom Porter and Dominic Wheatley fighting it out here. And something has happened actually to Jamie Roger, because he's now only a second ahead of this battle behind him. And yeah, Aidan, if you have got the option to switch to PC, buddy, please do, because we would love to see you in the finals this weekend. We'll help you out and try and make that happen if we possibly can. But back to tonight then, lap 2 out of 6, and yeah, this is starting to develop very, very nicely as we see Tom Porter and Dominic Wheatley. No love lost between these two here. Dominic Wheatley again forcing another car off into the grass here. They're through into Stowe, and let's have a look on board with Dom Wheatley then, because this is starting to get very, very interesting and quite fighty right now. Dominic Wheatley having a look to the inside of Vale Corner, but it's not going to happen. And we're now down to 12 cars in the race here, so we've lost another car from the race. Thankfully, glad to say that Westay's still in it. Callum Reid still in 6th place. But look at this. Now, your race leader has got a penalty. What has happened to Gary Robertson? He's had a slow down penalty, and that is going to apply after the race. That's why it's red. If it was a slow down, he would have already served it, but he's now 3 seconds ahead of Stuart Wyness, and that is going to be potentially a 1 or a 2 second penalty for your race leader. So big drama already there. Let's go back on with Dominic Wheatley though, as we see Tom Porter fired it up the inside there. That was never going to work there, and that is a huge upset there. And that means that Tom Porter... Now, I'm very confused here, because Dominic Wheatley was up into 5th position, and that now means that Tom Porter is away down in 6th. But look at that, Callum Reid is up in a 4th. He's only 2 seconds behind getting a qualifying place here. So I've got no idea what on earth just happened there, but somehow Callum Reid is away up onto the inside there. And some really rough racing in the Xbox. Thankfully it's been miles better. It's been head and shoulders over the quality of racing we had last night with the PS4. But that was a little bit too rough for my liking. That was never going to work on the entrance to that corner at Brooklands there. And I think we'll be having a little look at that one after the race. Jamie Roger then still in 3rd place, still trying to hold off that position from Callum Reid in 4th, and then you've got Dominic Wheatley in 5th place as well. And look at that, that now means that Tom Porter has fallen off the edge of a cliff here. He is in a whole world of trouble, because he is getting passed by cars left, right and centre here. But back to your race leader, and we've only got 2 laps left to go, and quite honestly my head is still trying to get around the fact that we have lost our championship leader from the final race, and that throws a whole world of possibilities at the feet of Tam Hamill, because remember, this isn't a given that Tam Hamill is going to take this. Tam Hamill still needs to get 37 points over the final weekend. And you get 25 points for a win, so he needs to win at least one race over on Sunday to be crowned championship. So this isn't over by any stretch of the imagination, and Ian Wilson has given a very tall order for Tam Hamill to fill here. But Tam Hamill currently the only man that can put any sort of pressure on Ian Wilson. Back to lap 4 here. As we see Stu Wyness in 2nd place, and we've got Jamie Roger in 3rd. And for Peter Robertson in YouTube chat, yeah, absolutely. For me, I couldn't have seen this final happening without Aiden. Unfortunately, we do apply the same rules to everyone. If we'd been fortunate enough to have Aiden in one of the previous sessions, then we could have tried to do something about it. But unfortunately we're in the last session, so we can't put on another session just to try and get him in the final. It's unfortunately it's the way that the cookie crumbles. The grids are organised, the heats are organised via a random number generator. That gives him a number and a value and a position in the heats. So it's just, unfortunately, it's the luck of the draw has conspired against Aiden tonight, and I'm absolutely devastated, and I cannot think what Aiden is feeling right now. So lap 5 out of 6 here on the final qualifying heat, And it is still your race leader, Gary Robertson, now nearly 5 seconds ahead of Stu Wyness, and then Jamie Roger in 3rd place. Callum Reid is trying to fight off Dominic Wheatley for that 4th place, and then it is in 6th place, it is Thomas Woods. 7th place is Glenn Watts, and then Tom Porter all the way back now in 8th place. He has had a horrendous 3 laps here as the sun starts to rise here at the virtual Silverstone GP for the final time this week for the Xbox Ones. Gary Robertson showing how it's done, 3.5 seconds ahead of your 2nd place man, Stu Wyness. Jamie Roger still in that 3rd place, and I think he's I thought he was looking comfortable in that 3rd place. I don't know anymore, because look at this, Callum Reid has got the run right now. It's not going to happen on this lap, but Callum Reid is definitely hunting right now as they come up towards Stowe Corner, and this is the perfect time to do it because we've only got 1 lap left after this to make this work. Stowe Corner is done and dusted, and that gap now just 0.7 of a second between Jamie Roger, coming under all sorts of pressure from Callum Reid. Callum Reid very late on the brakes into Vale, and he is on his bumper. This is what you want as a finish for race number 5, and Callum Reid wants that 3rd place. They're side by side and they go in towards the final lap then. What has just happened? Where has Callum Reid gone? Please tell me he has not just thought that that was the last lap. Oh no, where is Callum Reid? Callum Reid is disconnected. That's what's happened. He got to the line and then he just disconnected. Oh no way. Right, that hands everything to Jamie Roger then. We've got Dom Wheatley in 4th place. Y'all just saw that. Y'all just saw that actually happen live in front of me. I'm absolutely speechless. But here comes your race leader through the final half of the circuit, Gary Robertson. Through Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. 8 seconds ahead of Stuart Wyness and Jamie Roger. Down through Stowe Corner for the final time. And it's been another exemplary drive, another textbook drive for your race leader here. Gary Robertson is going to put this one into the books and secure his place in the final on Sunday for the Xbox One competitors. Qualifying heat number 5, and our final qualifying heat of the season for the Xbox Ones goes to Gary Robertson. Well done to Gary. Stuart Wyness is going to come across the line in 2nd place. We've got to keep an eye on Gary Robertson's time penalty that gets applied. Jamie Roger, though, is going to come across the line just ahead of Dominic Wheatley. Something bad happened to Jamie Roger on that last lap there. He lost 3 seconds out, and Dom Wheatley had the lap of his life there. So huge driving there. Well, what can you say? There we go. That is your final qualifying heat of the night, done and dusted for Xbox. It's all starting to unravel in YouTube chat. We'll be having a look at that and unraveling there. But the big news, the big drama is that Aaron Wilson does not compete in this weekend's final. Our championship leader is lost due to a technical failure, and he will not be taking part in this weekend. He has still got a 37-point lead over Tam Hamill in second place. He's on 127 points. Tam Hamill is on 90 points. So there you go. Just to remind you then, your 1, 2, 3 is Gary Robertson, second place for Stuart Wyness, and then third place for Jamie Roger. Wow, what an evening, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I have. We got through it together. It's been a long night. But as always, from everyone here at Canberra Media, from myself, David Christie, from SMRC, thank you very much for watching. We will see you tomorrow night for the SMRC eSports Racing Spring Championship, the PC qualifiers. That will be an absolute stormer of a night. Do not miss it. And then join us again on Sunday for the live finals of Round 4. Championships will be decided this weekend. Have a wonderful, wonderful night, and we will see you next time.